Hey guys, this is Guy Agostini, aka Sunspot in X-Men 97, and you're listening to Voice of the Heroes.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson. And I have my co-host, Senpai Lavatron, with me. And you are watching the #1 anime podcast in the world. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also click that notification bell so you can be notified for upcoming exclusive interviews and more content right here on Voice of the Heroes. And today we have a very special guest with us. He is the voice of Joe Higan from the brand new Kick-Ass anime show on Adult Swim and Max. And I swear, y'all, it's like John Wick and Naruto had a baby. Let's welcome Jeremy G to the show. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Really appreciate you guys having me out.
Well, thank you for being here. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little about your character from Ninja Kamui, Joe Higan.
Yeah, man. The coolest thing about this part is that it was such like a not like top secret project, but like I only know the stuff that I voiced. So as we watch week to week, I'm learning kind of just as much as you guys are. I know the overarching premise of the story. I know basically what happens, but the small details it's really exciting to. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know. Can I say shit on here? Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't
go
know.
ahead, man.
Cool, perfect.
Let's get it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I didn't know every detail that happened, but I mean the characters. He's fantastic. It's just like your typical revenge story, you know, but with the action sequences that Park has created and all the stuff that goes into it. Like it definitely different from anything I've ever been a part of. And I mean, I love the character. He's a guy that cares for his family, and whenever shit went wrong, he's gonna do something about it. It's as simple as that. And I'm excited to see what everyone thinks going forward after these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of seeing both of them, and the first episode just caught me completely off guard.
Oh,
now there is 2 credits to the character, right? We got Joe Logan and we have Joe Higan. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was for the audition. I actually auditioned with both Joe Logan material and Joe Higan, and you know they both went well. And with the sub, it's the same person doing both. But I think they wanted to switch it up a little bit with the dub and have someone else do the that way. Like the disguise isn't just a look; it's more it's voice as well. So that's actually a pretty decent friend of mine, Gabriel Ragojo, plays Joe Logan. So I saw it was him, and I was like, I'm all in for that. And he does a great job. So after that first, and we recorded the first episode of that so long ago. I was like, am I in the first episode? I don't remember. So I posted about it and I was like, check it out. You can hear me when it premieres. And then I watched it and I was like, never mind. You can hear me in like scenes from the next episode. But no, it's super cool. It's super cool to have 2 different people playing the different versions of Joe. And I think Gabe did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he definitely did. But hey, man, I think you got the better part, man. My God,
look,
Higan is the
absolutely. He's so bad. This is the most badass character I've ever played for sure. No questions asked. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. Like I kind of wish, like watching just 20 minutes at a time. I'm like, there's so every time it stops, I'm like, no, keep going. I need more now. Again, because it's one of those things like I haven't seen all of it. The very first scene in the first episode, that badass action sequence, I had never seen that until it dropped, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like it's choice. It's good stuff. I can't wait for you to watch it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Now, do you watch any other show that you voice act in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, starting off, I was so nervous because the very first show I did was Haikyuu. And starting off, I was so I'm like, I do not want to watch this. I don't want to hear myself. Like that's so embarrassing. But nowadays, I'm like, most of the time, something drops where I have any kind of like, even if it's not a very substantial part, I'm like, let me listen to this, see what I did. Because I mean, that's a good way to learn how to improve your voice acting skills. Like, because at first I was like, no, I'm not watching it. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to be like, why did you do this? You should have done this. You should have done this differently. But Now I've learned, I mean, that's a way to improve for sure. Actually, just last night, one of my shows, I was Asahi in a slice of life anime. Slice of life slash kind of it's a little bit of a harem anime. I was the lead in that, and the last episode just dropped, and I just watched that last night. It's good. I mean, you can see like, ooh, I like what I did there, and you can also be like, if I could go back, not nitpicking and not being hard on myself or anything, but if I could go back, I might have done these things differently. So long story short, yeah, I watch what most of the time, the things I record.
So, like, the funny thing is, the reason why I asked that question, because I asked all the voice actors that, just to make sure. I'm
Yeah.
like, do you watch or do you know the character you voice act? But I feel like that's because you have that musical theater background. Like, you have to
Yeah.
learn about
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge anime fan. Before I was ever a voice actor, I'm an anime fan first.
Oh,
and so it's crazy to be doing this. It's like a dream come true for sure. And I will forever be grateful and humbled by the fact that I get to do this as a job.
Speaking of Haikyuu, how do you feel about the movie beating out Demon Slayers
Ooh.
across season in the box office? And you play a couple of characters on there.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I got my Akashi jersey on
Hey!
right now. Yeah.
Let's go.
Absolutely. For sure. No, I was so happy. I mean, I love Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, and that movie was fantastic, top tier. But again, Haikyuu is the very first show I ever worked on, and it's also just a fantastic show. I've watched that through so many times. So I'm super happy. I'm so glad that not that it beat it out particularly, but just the fact that it had so much success. Because it is such a good show, and it's for everyone. You don't have to like sports to like that show. You can just like a good story. You can like good relationships, and it's family friendly as well. I love Haikyuu. I got a soft spot in my heart for that show. So I'm real happy that it had so much success. And I don't know if any of my characters are in the movie, but I'm kind of hoping we get to record that. But no, I'm thrilled that it had such a good success, and I can't wait to watch it.
Now, with you having that theatrical background and music background, what made you want to get into voice acting?
What made me want to get into voice acting was just like, watching cartoons as a kid growing up. Like that was like my thing. I loved every Saturday morning getting to watch the lineup of cartoons with my brother. And then just with my best friends from elementary school being like, whoa, wouldn't it be so cool to be able to like be a voice for one of these characters, not even knowing what all that entailed. And then like it kind of just like in my head, that was just something that would never happen because I didn't even know the first thing about it. And then I went to school for musical theater, and it just so happens Bryson Bogus, who is Hinata in Haikyuu and a lot of other big name, he's a big name voice actor himself. I was in school with him, did a few shows with him, and then Haikyuu came along, and he was like, hey, there's a bunch of dudes in this show. They asked me if there's anyone in our theater department that would be good at this, who would be interested in doing this. And he asked me if I'm interested, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm sure I can talk in a microphone and figure all that out. And so they had me in. They gave Bryson gave my contact information, and they called me in for a little audition it was Yahaba first, and then later I got Akashi. But as soon as I got done, it was like maybe 6 lines my first session, and I walked out and I got back in my car and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do for sure. I don't know if anything is going to come from this one part, but I'm going to figure out how to make it work. And I am looking back now. I'm just so, again, not to beat a dead horse. I'm just so grateful to be able to be doing this. So yeah, shout out Bryson for getting me in here.
I can see your inner childhood screaming right now.
And I was actually talking to my partner about it. It probably too often about how I'm just like, if 10-year-old me was seeing what I was doing now, he would be like, dang, we're doing pretty good. So yeah, very grateful, very humbling to be able to do this.
All right, so Marvel and DC have been going back and forth announcing a whole bunch of new projects, especially with the animation side of things, with, X-Men 97 coming out in March and a new Spider-Man series. If you had the choice to pick one, which one would you go with, Marvel or DC?
Based off of, I will never say that I'm a big comic person. I did not read many comics growing up or anything like that. So just going based off of the movies I've seen and the heroes that I know, I definitely say I'm more of a Marvel guy. I don't know if that's the stereotypical answer. But as a kid, I loved Spider-Man and I loved the Incredible Hulk. Mostly the Incredible Hulk. That's always been my favorite. And then of late, I've become a very big Thor fan. And the movies are fantastic. I think the last one I saw, I think I'm caught up to like the Spider-Man movies. I haven't seen super far past that, but I'm on the quest to get caught up on those. So I think Marvel for me. I love the Justice League as well. I watched the Justice League animated series growing up, and I love that. But most recently, Marvel for sure.
Yeah, with the Marvel movies, they've been on a real decline lately, with
They
Madam Web being
have.
the most recent one flopping.
I saw that.
Do you think
flops.
the genre is starting to get like a little,
That would be my guess. I mean, whenever the like Avengers came out, like that was like everyone was like, "Oh my God, superhero movies are like this is it." And then you get all these fantastic movies, a couple misses here and there, but then I mean, like you get Infinity War, you get Endgame, you get all these fantastic Spider-Man movies. It gets to a point where like how do you get better? And then it's just trying to like, I mean, at a certain point, it's just like we want to make money. Let's keep pushing these movies out. So I think there's definitely a decline on it, but I have no doubt that they'll figure out a way to bounce back and make some more stuff that I had no idea was possible.
Now, growing up, I know you said like growing up you watched a lot of anime and cartoons. What is your favorite cartoon and what's your favorite anime growing up?
Oh boy, we can talk about this for a long time.
Go
Cartoon
ahead.
cartoon wise, I guess Pokemon was an anime first, wasn't it? As a child, before I even knew what anime was, like I didn't even know if someone said, "What anime do you like?" I'm like, "What is that?" But I watched, and to this day, continue to watch all the time. SpongeBob never misses. SpongeBob never misses. SpongeBob, Pokemon. I mean, to this day, I'm still a huge Pokemon fan. I'm looking at way too many Pokemon cards that have not been sorted yet that are just sitting over behind my desk. And then what else? I mean, I loved Teen Titans growing up. Whenever that stopped, I was like, "Where's the rest?" Anything, honestly, anything between like 2000 and like 3, it's like 2000. Honestly, a little bit too late in my life. I could tell you about a lot of the cartoons. But yeah, if I had to pick one, Pokemon or a couple, Pokemon and SpongeBob are probably like my big ones. And then again, I know Pokemon is an anime. But for anime, Naruto is my favorite anime of all time. I like whenever I saw y'all's list of people you've talked to or interviewed, and I saw all the voice actors for like Neji and Rock Lee and Tintin and Obito, all that stuff, I was like, hell yeah. I'm looking at a bunch of Naruto art right here next to me right now. That's what got me. Actually, what got me started was Bleach. Bleach is also fantastic. My friend introduced me to, what the anime genre in like sophomore year of high school, and I watched Bleach, and then I got into Naruto, and since then I've seen Naruto through like so many times. Like I'm watching it through. This is my 6th time through all of Naruto and Shippuden with my partner. This is our first time watching it. We're about to finish that up. So Naruto is my favorite anime. Y'all asked me a question I could talk about for a long time.
Now, favorite starter, first generation starter.
First generation
Pokemon.
favorite starter. It used to be a unanimous Charmander, like most people.
Okay.
But of late, I've started to get a big respect for Squirtle. And then I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Unites on the Switch. And Venusaur is my second go-to Pokemon. So all 3 of them. I mean, I don't think you can beat a better trio of starters. The best starter of all time. The best starter of all time is Blaziken or Torchic. But yeah, Pokemon's another one I could talk about forever.
Is that a hobby of yours? Pokemon cards?
Recently, yeah, it wasn't. It was not. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, we had Pokemon cards, and I mean, just like every kid's story, or every people my age, our age story. At some point, my mom sold them in a garage sale or something. And I'm sure that box of that binder of Pokemon cards nowadays would be worth some crazy amount of money.
Yeah, my God.
But yeah, I think not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. I keep talking about my partner Annie. She's also a voice actor. She's fantastic. But she just got me a pack of Pokemon cards in like my little stocking, and I got it, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that." So I have started collecting, and it's not. I'm not like looking for ultra rare cards. Like I started collecting just wanting to catch them all. I want to get one of every Pokemon and put them in my binder, and then I'll be happy. But they keep making new Pokemon, and I'm like, well, shit, we're gonna have to keep going on this one. But yeah, that's definitely become a big hobby of mine, collecting Pokemon cards.
All right. Are there any upcoming or ongoing anime series that you would like to be a part of?
That I like to be a part of. I mean,
Yeah, like if you can get cash right now,
if they
and
could throw
something
me,
either upcoming or ongoing.
I would love. I mean, back to Naruto. Like, as a Naruto fan, huge Naruto fan. I've never watched a single episode of Naruto, but it's still the Naruto universe. Y'all can throw me in as like background guy 12. I will do some walla for it, and that would be a dream come true. Absolutely. Um, Solo Leveling looks sick. I don't know. I haven't watched too much of it, or I mean, I've just seen clips of it. Actually, I haven't even seen a full episode. But that looks pretty sick, and I would love to. That'd be cool to just get thrown in there somewhere. But other than that, I mean, I've been blessed to have, even if it's not like a significant character, I've been blessed to have some pretty good parts working with Sentai and things like that. So those would probably be the two that I'm. And again, I started with Bleach. Bleach was my first big anime to watch. It'd be cool to get thrown into that as well. That's somewhere, you know.
Now, have you ever encountered a challenge or obstacle in your career as a voice actor?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. So yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest one is imposter syndrome. It's like
Yeah.
there are times I got. I mean, it was an anime that was made in 2008, Kaiji Ultimate Survivor. They finally started to dub it, and I got cast as the lead in that one. And in there recording it, there were times, even before this, but this was like my first big one where I was like, "How am I here? Like, why?" And it's so I mean, like, yeah, that self-doubt's always gonna creep in, but just knowing like you put the work in, like you're trained, like you know what you're doing. So that's probably the biggest obstacle is the imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, but having like a good support system, having a partner who's a voice actor and an actor as well to support, and then just being good friends with that community, the voice acting community, and having people hype you up. It's that I think it's super important, is how like you overcome that kind of stuff, and it's always going to be there. I mean, I hope one day the self-doubt isn't there, but I think it's always going to be there no matter how well I do or how well I think I do. And it's just being able to like ground yourself and say, hey, no, you did the work, you got here, you know what you're doing. You are just as capable as anyone else to keep going and doing this job.
That hit me in the heart. I'm like, as a content creator, I'm like, that hit me.
Yo,
I'm like,
you know
don't
what I'm
cry.
saying? It's so true. It's so true because like, again, not to get all serious, but like there's with everything online, with everything everywhere, and all the people who are trying to do it and it can put you down, like it's always going to be someone telling you like, what do you like? This isn't something that you can do. Like this isn't something you're able to do. And why not? Why not? Just if you want to do something, try to do it, and like don't let the negativity get to you. Easier said than done. I'm over here giving advice whenever it still gets to me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I mean, it's a long road of overcoming the like the self-deprecation, the imposter syndrome, but heck with all the haters, if you will.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's everyone's struggling. Everyone struggles. Everyone struggles. Just keep doing it. Everyone just do your best and everything's gonna be fine.
All right. So this is something we ask all of our guests that come on the show. We want to get your top 3 animes of all time. This is straight your opinion, your thoughts. Nothing else matters. So you ain't got to go to popular choice. And you know, you don't have to go. You can go whatever you decide.
I
Sure.
feel like we know his number one already.
Yeah, Naruto.
Well, that's the thing. It's easy to put it there because, like, I mean, it is. I think it is such a staple in the anime community, right? Like, even if you're not an anime fan, you know Naruto. Is it one of the best of all time? In my opinion, yeah, because I'm biased. But you also got to look at different genres, right? Like, that's a shonen. That's my favorite shonen of all time. If we're looking at slice of life, I have not cried more in an anime than when I watched Your Lie in April. I don't know if y'all have seen that. It's like 26 quick episodes, and I'm like, damn, I watched that through a couple times. That's up there. There's certain seasons of things that I'm like, that's peak, but then they have seasons off. So let me not offend anyone. Let me just say that I'm just going to say anime I'm in, so that way my bias can be like, oh, he said that because bias. Except Naruto. I'm gonna say Naruto because I love Naruto. And I will say I am in it, but I'm like the smallest bit. Vinland Saga is fantastic. If you haven't seen Vinland Saga,
that's a good one.
I'm a teeny tiny part in that, but that's really good. And then Heidi's really good, but I'm in that and I'm deleting that, so that's a cheap answer. Jujutsu Kaisen's really hot right now, and that's looking good. I know it's the popular pick. But it's great. I'm not in that one, so that's not biased. Demon Slayer is also great. That the train. Ooh,
That's not a bad three. Naruto, JJK, and Demon Slayer.
That hurt my
feelings. Not a bad three right there.
And also, anime that's overlooked a lot. Because there is a lot of female leads, and I think there's not enough female leads that are taken seriously in anime. I'm also biased because my partner is the lead in that, but The Executioner and Her Way of Life is fantastic. It's on High Dive, so check that out if you haven't seen it. She's great in that. It's great. Yeah, it's
what's her name?
My partner's name?
Yeah.
Annie Wild. She's the lead in Executioner Way of Life. She plays Ma in Made in Abyss, if you've seen that. All sorts of stuff. I'm blanking right now. We're both in Ragnar Crimson right now. She's great. She is fantastic.
Man, maybe we can get on the show one day or get both of y'all on as a couple. That'd be fantastic.
We would love that.
I was gonna ask, how do you handle the emotional demands of voice intense and like dramatic scenes? But with you already having that musical and theater background, I feel like I already know the answer to that.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it is that definitely helps, but it's so different doing it on stage and doing it in the booth, because like on stage, like you have other actors around you, right? Like you're acting off people. There's you don't have to like look at a microphone. You're not reading the lines as they come. It's just like, all right. So definitely the theater training helps with like being able to drop into that, find that emotional place whenever it's not something that like you're actually feeling. Like it's not something that Jeremy feels. It's just something that your character feels, right? So I think it's just the ability to like drop in, be in the moment, and I'm loud. I'm a loud guy, just in general. So like when it comes to like high emotion, like anger or like fight combat stuff, like all the screaming, it feels fairly easy to me. But like having to drop in for like emotional stuff, like for like crying moments and things, because we have in the booth, in my experience, like I have so much fun just like talking with the director, the engineer that are in there, just like having a good time, laughing, joking between lines and stuff. But I think there's just like a mutual understanding for everyone, like whenever it gets to a moment like that, it's kind of like, we're gonna let this go, do what you're gonna do. If it fits, like drop into what you got to do. So I think it's just it's a huge help for that is just having like people in the room who understands, what the emotion that's necessary for that scene, and understand, like give the actor space to work, right? Let them do what they need to do to drop into this space. If it's something like, hey, you need to take a minute to like get in a certain headspace, or you already just go for it. and just being very understanding and giving and graceful in that moment. Because there have been times when I try to record an emotional scene and it's bad. It's so bad, and it's like, all right, let's take that again. Let me focus up. Let me figure it out. And it's just understanding that like no one's gonna. I mean, there are times where you get it right the first time. There are times where you nail it the first time, and that's great. But if not, just knowing like, oh, that's no big deal. That's the best thing about this medium, this entertainment medium, is like you can go over and over and over again until you get it how you want it. So I think it's just trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, trusting that even if it goes terribly, you can go again, and not being scared of it, not being scared to drop in and like put yourself in this character's shoes, right? Like animes, and most of the time it's a very extreme situation, and most of the time that's how you captivate the audience, is to like have these extreme situations. So like a lot of the times I'm in these situations, like I've never had these emotional things happen to me in real life. I don't know how exactly I would feel, but just kind of imagining what that would be like, and giving yourself freedom to explore and play and figure out what it feels like. That's the dramatic answer. The easy answer is you just do it. You just go in there and do it. But no, I think it's definitely being comfortable with the people you're working with, and being okay with looking silly sometimes, and sounding silly, and that's okay. You got to be okay with looking silly sometimes in this industry.
All right. Are there any lines from any of your characters that you voice acted that resonate with you in real life?
Well, that's a good question. Let me think. There must be. This one's fresh on the mind, because I just watched the final episode, with the Love Flops. Probably the most, well, Akashi's probably more realistic. But this show it's very centered around like, loving someone and like the gushy love stories. But having a partner that I'm so much in love with, and just like hearing the way he talks to the character that he's in love with, I think I was like, me and her were in the room last night watching it, and like we were both getting choked up because we're like, oh, that's how we feel about each other, this, that, and the other. So yeah, that's probably Akashi, or not Akashi, whoops, Asa in Love Flops, in that 12th episode. I don't remember the last episode. There's a nice little romantic scene, and I think that resonates with me just because of the point I'm at in my life right now with my partner Annie. It's just really special.
This one wasn't on the sheet, but I just want to ask you, just because
Yeah, absolutely.
So much about your partner. How does that feel, like being in a relationship, both y'all in the same career, like voice acting, like?
Because originally she had never done any voice acting. We met. That's the story for the next one. We met, and after we met, I knew she was also a stage actor, because I still do some stage stuff here and there, and we both do a little bit of film here and there. So, I mean, and I had known that she was an actor before, but like it's super nice having someone to like talk about the things that we know, like going to rehearsal for these stage performances and being like, oh, this was annoying because of this, or like connecting with, and like understanding the pros and the cons of the career and everything. And with voice acting, I'm not going to say that I was the reason she got into voice acting, but there was some. I'll let her tell the story on the next one, because she can like pin it down more. But
yeah, I'll give you another question. That way
she knew, she had known from the past, through family, knowing someone that works at Sentai, and she's like, oh, I know that guy. And I was like, weird. So I was like, hey, Annie Wild? And he was like, what? And he's like, what is she doing? I was like, oh, she's an actor. And he's like, does she want to do this? I was like, probably. So she got called in for an audition because she was already a performer, and now we're both voice actors, and it's really cool. We get to hype each other up. We get to see each other's success. We get to you know, understand each other's like stresses about it, each other, all of it. I mean, being able to understand how the other person feels, whether it's the ups or the downs or the in between, it's pretty special. It's pretty nice.
That's dope. All right. Last but not least, are there any upcoming conventions or projects that you're able to talk about?
Convention wise, I had never really like looked into. Done like a couple small conventions here and there, but after this show dropped, I was like, you know,
Hey,
maybe
get
it's
ready.
maybe it's time I start doing this stuff. So I have been applying for some conventions in the future. That being said, if anyone wants to see me at a convention, go ahead and start requesting me. I would love that. I mean, when it comes to conventions, I think it's such a special opportunity because we as voice actors like would not have a career without the fans, and I want nothing more but to get to like meet fans and like show my gratitude for their support and all that. Because again, like it's baffling that I get to do this for a living, and the people that support voice actors and support the shows, it's super thankful. So as of now, nothing yet, but now that the show is starting to come out, I haven't been able to talk about it. I've known about this part for months, and I'm like, well, I would love to be able to start looking into some cons, but now I'm starting to apply for cons, and if there's any cons anyone wants to see me at, request me. I would love to be there. And then for shows, like I said, Ragnar Crimson is coming out. The dub is coming out. Episode 9 just dropped this past Saturday. I play Ninja Kamui in that. My first real big villain, and it's one of my favorite parts I've ever played. And this Saturday, I think one of my favorite scenes I've ever voiced is premiering on, I think it's just on High Dive. It might just be on High Dive. I don't know. Wherever you can watch Ragnar Crimson dub, check that out. And he's also in it. Other than that, what else can I talk about? That might be all I'm allowed to talk about right now. But
okay, well,
again,
we're gonna have you back on. Hopefully,
yeah,
soon.
absolutely. I would love it. I would love it. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. And if you're watching this, man, you can watch the uncut version on our Patreon. Thank y'all so much, man. This was Voice of the Heroes. Appreciate you, Jeremy G. Make sure y'all check out Ninja Kamui on Max, and Adult Swim. You got anything for us?
I mean, I'll plug my Twitter real quick because that's what, if you're trying to see what I got going on as it's happening. My Twitter, I mean, you look up, it should just be look up Jeremy G. You'll see a long-haired dude with a purple background. That's me. My pinned tweet is the Ninja Kamui stuff. And then also on Instagram, same thing. Same name. All the other social medias I've not got there. I'm working on getting on the TikTok. But I don't know how that works just yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. So yeah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
No doubt. All links will be in the description below. Thank y'all all for tuning in. Make sure you love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. Until the next time, it's Voice of the Heroes.
Sing it with me, pretty Cali, pretty Cali.